probation and parole as a probation and parole officer. I was hired by the GBI in 2020 and went through Basic Law Enforcement Academy and also the GBI Academy. I have attended training for cell phone forensics. I have attended training for homicide investigations, child abuse investigations, and other general investigative tasks.
Are you a post-certified officer?
I am.
And were you the lead GBI agent assigned to investigate the murder of Laken Riley?
Yes.
Will you tell the court when were you assigned to that and what did you do in that regard in the very beginning?
I was assigned that role on Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. Shortly after 1 p.m., I was contacted by my immediate supervisor, Assistant Special Agent in Charge Heather Strickland. She advised that the University of Georgia Police Department was requesting GBI assistance in reference to a death investigation.
I'm sorry, can you come into that microphone just a little bit more because I make sure that Madam Court Reporter and everybody can hear you. Thank you. So you were advised that the University of Georgia requested assistance. Go ahead.
Yes, I was advised that the University of Georgia requested assistance in reference to a death investigation, and I was dispatched to an area on campus known as the Intramural Fields and the Lake Herrick area and the Oconee Forest Park specifically. I was told that there was a deceased female that had been located in that wooded area. When I arrived at the scene, I met with UGA PD personnel, specifically Major Hammock, and he provided me a briefing of the information that they had gathered so far.
What time did you get on the scene?
I arrived on the scene at approximately 2 p.m.
And when you arrived on the scene, was Laken Riley's body still on scene?
Yes.
And did you assist your special agent, Daniela Stewart, in processing the scene, and were you on the scene that day?
I was on the scene that day. I did not assist in processing the crime scene. There were some things that I did assist with, such as gathering measurements. I also later helped look for a cell phone, but as far as the collection of physical evidence, I did not assist with that task.
And who did that task?
Special Agent Daniela Stewart, Detective Saunders from the University of Georgia Police Department were primarily assisting in that task.
How long were you on scene that day?
I remained on scene that day until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
In your and so then how did this work? Is a GBI an assist agency? Tell us about that. You nodded your head, so you have to say yes or no for Madam Court Reporter. Is GBI an assist agency?
Yes, the GBI is an assist agency.
And so what does that mean?
The GBI rarely opens or has original jurisdiction over their own investigations. We are we are requested by chiefs of police, local sheriffs, judges, district attorneys, fire chiefs, or elected officials can request the GBI to investigate a case also. We do not respond as a standard police department or patrol officer would to a 911 call. We have to be specifically requested by another law enforcement agency to initiate an investigation.
And after you were requested, your agency was requested in this case and you were assigned lead, did you work this case with the University of Georgia Police Department?
Yes, I did.
And specifically with Detective Preston Norris, did you two work together?
Yes, we did.
And have y'all been working together on this case basically since it occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm going to hand you what has been marked for identification purposes as 286, 287, 288, 298, 297. I'm going to ask that you keep these in the folder while you're looking at them, please, and keep them low. Do you recognize those exhibits?
I do.
What are they?
These are screenshots that I captured from Sergeant Maxwell's body camera footage. That body camera footage depicted the moments that he initially found Laken Riley's body.
The state would move to admit those item numbers.
Any objection?
No objection.
They're admitted. 286, 287, 288, 297, 298.
We have one moment, Your Honor. It's on folder. I am going to tender those exhibits to the court in a folder for them to be discussed. So, Investigator Lucas, as part of your, Special Agent Beyer, as part of your duties and responsibilities in this case, did you do a great deal of studying of Laken Riley's clothing and how it was on the scene?
I did, yes.
Let's start first with what you personally observed when you arrived on scene at 2 p.m. Go ahead and start. First of all, just tell us what you saw about her clothing in general, and then I may ask you some specific questions.
At the time that I arrived on the scene, Laken Riley was still located on the scene, as I previously stated. Her the garments that were covering her torso, jacket, sports bra, they were completely removed from her body and they were lying on the ground next to her. She was still wearing shoes, socks, black pants, and we could also observe underwear that she was wearing. They were tan or pink in color, and they were poking out from the top of her, the waistband of her running pants.
Her running pants, were they above or below her navel when you saw her body?
They were below her navel.
Okay. And did you see the back of her body?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So how would you describe the top of her pants versus in the front versus the back? Were they even or were they uneven?
They were uneven. The back of her pants were significantly lower than the top of her pants.
You could see her underwear protruding. What do you mean by that?
I could see the underwear protruding from the top of her pants on the front of her body. The waistband of her pants had been moved, and the underwear was poking out from the top. As I just stated, the backside of her running pants were pulled down, exposing the top of her buttocks.
Did you go back and review Sergeant Maxwell's body cam to see if what her clothing was like when she was originally found by the UGPD police officers?
Yes, I did.
And is that part of the photos that we've admitted for the court for his consideration?
That's correct.
Okay. How would you, first of all, describe her running tights and her underwear? Was it in the same manner in Sergeant Maxwell's body cam as it was when you saw it?
Her pants and her underwear were in the same condition in the body camera as when I physically saw them on scene.
Okay. So her underwear was protruding like you saw it on scene?
Correct.
What about the top layer of her clothing? What was it the same?
No.
Okay. So how would you describe the clothing that you've studied in Maxwell's body cam at the top of her body?
The clothing on top of her body had initially in the body camera when Sergeant Maxwell found Laken Riley. Her jacket and shirt and sports bra that she had been wearing were heavily manipulated, and the clothing was pulled up extremely high above her breasts, which completely exposed her breasts. The jacket and shirt had been pulled up on her back, and all of her clothing items were bunched up around the back of her neck, and they were also pulled up off of her shoulders from the rear. Everything was pulled forward.
Go ahead. I was going to ask you about the sports bra. Did you see her sports bra?
Yes, I did see the sports bra. The sports bra had been manipulated so that it had become the outermost layer of her clothing. The sports bra, as I was able to see in the body camera, was wrapped around her upper arms. They were wrapped around her triceps, and I was able to identify that was the sports bra in the body camera footage, because the bottom of the sports bra, as it would have been worn, the bottom layer that would have been below her breast was a pretty distinctive ribbed material, and I was able to see that ribbed material in the body camera footage wrapped around her triceps and her upper arms.
Were you also part of the investigative team in making decisions about what to test and what not to test in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you're aware that Laken Riley's part of her body was swabbed by the medical examiner?
I'm aware of that, yes.
Like her neck and her wrists and her ankles. And were those swabs tested by your laboratory, the GBI?
No, they were not.
And why not?
They were not tested because we knew that there had been at least 3 males that had touched Laken Riley's body without gloves when they were rendering aid and trying to save her life. We also know that there were additional males that had rendered aid to Laken Riley after the initial 3 officers had tried to render aid to her.
And would those be EMS and firefighters?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, go ahead.
We also saw in body camera footage that Sergeant Maxwell and Corporal Bridges, as they were the first ones to discover Laken Riley, they were equipped with whistles, and they were blowing in the whistles to try and signal other officers where their position was in the wooded area. As they were performing CPR on Laken Riley, we could see in the video that those whistles would occasionally touch her body, and it was likely that the whistles coming out of their mouth and then touching her body was depositing saliva on her person.
And at some point, you left the scene that day. Did you go to Bolt Dining Hall?
I did.
What is Bolt Dining Hall?
Bolton Dining Hall is one of the dining halls on the University of Georgia campus.
And what was your purpose for going there, and when did you go?
I went there on Friday, February 23rd, 2024, along with University of Georgia Police Department Major Hammock, in order to look at surveillance video from inside Bolton Dining Hall. We had received information that Diego Ibarra was employed at Bolton Dining Hall, and we went to the dining hall to look at the surveillance video to see if he had gone to work on the day of the murder.
And did you observe that video for yourself?
I did.
And were you with Major Hammock at the time?
Yes.
And just tell the court, what did y'all do? How did you see the video for yourself? People were up and see it?
Yes, we went to the Bolton Dining Hall administrative office, and we were allowed to look at a computer screen, and the Genetech security system was pulled up on the computer screen, and we were able to go back to specific dates and look at those dates and the surveillance video associated with those dates.
And is the Genetech but is Genetech and the University of Georgia's Police Department audio and video surveillance system tied to their server?
Yes, it is.
And so are the times and date stamps on their videos accurate?
Yes, they are.
And were you asked for the purposes of today to burn clips of the video that you saw for yourself on February 23rd of 2024?
I was.
And did you do that, burn clips of what you saw?
Yes.
And then what's been marked State's Exhibit 282, do you recognize 282?
I do.
What is it?
This is a thumb drive that contains clips of Bolton Dining Hall surveillance video.
And do those clips fairly and accurately, and are they an accurate recording of what you personally saw for yourself on the 23rd day of February 2020?
The clips contained on this thumb drive are from the 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
My question was the day that you saw it for yourself.
Oh, yes, correct.
Okay.
Yes, these are accurate clips of the 23rd that I observed on the 23rd.
So you pulled several days of video.
Yes,
You did that on the 23rd is when you saw it.
correct.
And so the video that's contained on 282 has other dates on it that precede the 23rd.
That's correct.
Is it an accurate copy of the videos that you saw?
Yes.
State will move to admit states 282.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
282 is admitted.
And just like the previous video for the court and counsel, we attempted to narrow the clip so that we're not watching hours and hours of video. And so that's what we're going to do. They're still not as short as maybe they could be, but it's certainly better than multiple hours. So I am publishing, with the court's permission, 282. There we go. Charlotte, never mind, we're up. It's It's not going to know.